Alright, Tunji from Caesar Graphics. Welcome to my channel. Today's oil paint tutorial is taking a new turn because I did this specially for my mom's 60th birthday. Hooray! Alright, so you're not going to see the picture of my mom in the description section, but I'm going to put the link to the brush. So without any further ado, let's jump into today's tutorial. Alright, so I'm going to create a new document and I'll call this Mama P, and I'll make my width 1920, height is going to be 1080, my resolution is going to be 100 because I'm making this my YouTube banner. Alright, I'll leave every other settings the way they are and I'm going to select the create button. Then I'll drag my mom's picture and drop here. I'll scale this real big like so. Now I'll position this here just like so. Alright, then I'll stamp visible of the layers and I'll go to filter. I'll select the filter gallery option here and I'll make thickness 7, edge is going to be 0, posterization is going to be 2, and I'm going to select the OK button. Okay, then I'm going to create a new layer again and I'll call this smudge paint. Alright, I'll select the OK button. So it's time for us to add the Caesar Graphics brush. So to do that, you need to be on the brush tool, click on this arrow facing down, then you click on the gear icon and select import brushes. Locate where you have the brush in your drive and click on the brush and select load. So now if I go to my brush tab here, so this is the brush right here. So I'm going to make sure I'm on the smudge tool when I'm doing this. I'll scale down my brush. Alright, so I'll be changing the angle of my brush as I apply it to the smudge paint layer. Anytime you see me touch this side of my brush settings, it means I'm changing the angle of my brush. So I want to have different angle of the brush on the face of my character here. I'm going to rotate the artboard like so. Alright, then I'll go back to the smudge tool and I'll change this way. I'm going to gently apply that here like so. All right, so I'm going to stamp visible of the layers again by holding on Ctrl Shift Alt and then E, and I'll go to filter. I'll select sharpen and I'll select on sharp mask. All right, and what I'm trying to do here is to add contrast to the pixels. So I'm going to make my amount 32 and radius is going to be 4.0. Threshold is going to be 0, and I'm going to select the OK button. And I'm going to go to filter again and select sharpen, and this time I'm going to hit the smart sharpen option here. And for the sharpen, I'm trying to reduce the soft edges of the pixels. I'm going to increase the radius, yeah. So I'm going to select the OK button. So when applying the smudge tool, you need to be very careful not to over apply it to the important part of the face. Yes, I know every part of the face is important, but there are part of the face that you need to be very careful when applying the smudge tool to. Right, so I'm talking of places like the eyes, the nose, and then the lips. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to add highlights to the project. So I'm going to select the curve adjustment here, and I'm going to boost that like so and hit the Ctrl I on my keyboard to reverse the mask. And I'm going to go back to my brush tab here and select my brush tool. I'm going to be on the Ceasar Graphix brush, and I'm going to rotate my screen like so. And I'm going to select the brush tool now and change the angle of my brush. Use this and gently apply this to the scene. So I'm going to gently apply that here, here, here. Do the same thing here. Come back here and rotate this. Alright. Then I'm going to stamp visible again by holding down Ctrl Shift Alt and then E. So I'm going to name my layer paint. So I'll go to filter, stylize, and select oil paint. And I'm going to make this 2.7. It's going to be 3.2 like so. Alright, and I'm going to select the OK button. And I'm going to hide this and stamp visible again. And I'm going to make this visible. I'll call this eyes. And I'm going to add a layer mask to this. Alright, I'll select the brush because we're losing the important part of the character. Alright, so I'm going to just switch this to black and make sure that I'm on the hard brush. I'm just going to gently take this out. I'm going to do the same thing to the nose. Alright, so I am going to select this layer and go to filter again and go to stylize and select oil paint. So this time I'm not going to apply too much oil paint to this. I'm just going to push this down and drag this down like so. And put this like so. Alright, this is good. So I'm going to select the OK button, and this is what we have. Alright, I believe this is making sense now. Alright, so it's time for us to fine tune the project. So I'm going to add a curve adjustment, and I'm going to push this down like so, and I'm going to hit Ctrl I on my keyboard to reverse the mask, and I'm going to select the brush tool, select the soft round brush, and make sure that transfer is checked, and make sure that my control is set to pen pressure because I'm using a Graphix tablet. But if you don't have a Graphix tablet, you can tone down your flow to 15 and you are still going to achieve the same move. All right, so the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to be able to control the strength of my brush. All right, so I'm going to zoom in here and make sure that your foreground is set to white, and make sure that you are on the layer mask of the curve adjustment, and I'm going to gently apply that like so. Then I'm going to create a new layer for this line. All right, so I'm going to turn off transfer now. Go back to my brush tip, select hard brush, and then turn on shape dynamic and make sure that my control is set to pen pressure. And I'm going to reduce the brush size. I'll zoom in. All right, and I'm going to hold on all to sample this shade of brown. So I'm going to increase my smooth to 54. I increase the smoothing so as to be able to have smooth movement of my brush. So I'm just going to drop that there like that. Go to the eraser tool and just gently take this out. So I'm using the eraser tool to take that out because it's too strong. Select the brush tool again, and this side I'm just going to apply that back. Just connect it back like so. Use the eraser tool and just fine tune it. So, right, and let's see. Okay, so I'm going to hold down Alt again and pick a color from here. Select right here. Hold on Control and click to create the marquee of the layer, and I'm going to create a new layer and call this shadow. And I'm going to add a layer mask to this, and I'm going to switch to this shade of color, right? And I'm going to turn off shape dynamic, go back to my brush tip and increase the size of my brush. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to make sure I'm on the thumbnail of the shadow layer, and I'm just going to apply that here. Okay, so I need to make this more grayish, so I'm going to apply that here. Beautiful. Apply that here. Beautiful. This is beautiful. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay. I'm going to turn off transfer option here, and I'm going to pick a color with Alt hold down here. We'll only just use this. So I'm holding down Alt now, and I pick this color, and I'm going to increase my brush size a bit. And I'm just going to click, hold down, drag, and let go. Right? Then I'm going to do the same thing here. Click, hold down, drag, and let it go. Right. So this is what we have. Okay, so I think this is too big, so I'll use the razor tool to just reduce the size. So do the same thing here. So I am going to add a background color to the project by holding on Control and create a marquee of our very first layer, which is this. So I'm going to click on the thumbnail to create a marquee of the layer, and I'm going to create a new layer and call this BG. All right, and I'm going to pick a color. Pick here and just pick a color from here, like so. I'm going to select the OK button and I'm going to fill. All right, so before I do that, I need to add a layer mask. All right, so I'll click on the thumbnail of the BG layer and hold on Alt and apply backspace. So what I'm going to do now is to click on the thumbnail of the BG layer and hit Ctrl I to reverse the mask. All right, now, so what I'm going to do now is to select the first layer, shift select the second to the last layer, and hit Ctrl G to put the layers in a group. So what I'm going to do now is to add solid color to this. So I'll click on the adjustment button and select solid color, and I'm going to move this to something around purple here because I'm trying to create more drama to this. So I'll make this a little bit darker like so and select the OK button. So I'll double click here to bring out the layer style because we need to blend this. So I'm going to move this from here to here like so, and move this from here to here, and I'll hold on Alt to break the slider and move this in like so, and this should go in like so. Let's move this in. By holding on Alt and click, and this should go this way, and this should go back this way like so. I prefer it this way. I'm gonna select the OK button. In order to make this look more interesting, we are gonna add the hue saturation adjustment. So I'm gonna click on this and I'm gonna move this. Okay, so that's it. I'm glad you made it to the end of this tutorial. If you are able to achieve any project with the help of this tutorial, simply post it on your Instagram page. Use the hashtag Ceasar Graphix and tag me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @CeasarGraphix. If you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to hit the post notification bell so you won't miss any of my tutorials. Share, like, and comment on this video. I'll see you again in the next one. Peace.